morning, the 28th day of April 2026. Today, the question is simple. Are the lights really staying on, or are we being eased slowly into darkness again? At assurances, briefings, and technical explanations, governments are still asking the same question. Why does stability feel so uncertain? The Akosombo Fire, the Great Coast shake-up, interruptions in both electricity and now water supply in parts of Accra. These are not isolated incidents. They are signals. And when signals repeat themselves, they stop being coincidences. Yesterday, the Energy Minister spoke. Experts respond, and you, the public, get to weigh in. Because this is no longer just about power. It's about accountability. Stay with us on ABC in the morning. We have so much for you.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye, easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change when it comes to feeding your family. You choose what you trust. For generations, Gino has delivered the same dependable quality every time. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, ABC News GH. You can also interact with us via socials at ABC News GH _. And our website is www.abcnewsgh.com. You can scan the code on your TV and it will lead you straight to the website. Let's begin the day with our quote of the day. Albert Einstein, the celebrated scientist, tells us information is not knowledge. The only source of knowledge is experience. You know information, we give you the facts, we give you everything you need to know. But it is just about you hearing the facts. You need to go beyond what you have heard to experience what you have heard. And that is where you get a lot of knowledge. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. Good experience is the best good teacher. And so make sure that even after you have heard the good things, you do well to experience them. Then you can have tangibility of the things you have heard. You can really touch the information you have heard. And so information is not knowledge. The source of knowledge is experience. Albert Einstein tells us so. Let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Turn our attention to the newspapers. What is making the headlines? On the Daily Graphic, confront audit infractions with honesty. Accountants General to public sector accountants. Osahun Ajeva is new First Bank Ghana MD CEO. Okay. And Bankra Inland Port critical to economic transformation, and that is Esiedun Ketia, the chairman of the NDC. The big story on the front page of the Daily Graphic: Akosombo back on stream, 2 units restored, full recovery expected this week. And this is the Energy Minister yesterday at the Government Accountability Series. We'll bring you more on this during our conversations today on ABC in the morning. Let's take a look at more newspapers. The Daily Searchlight, dumsor minority coroner government. Okay. And minorities demanding load shedding schedule and disputes government explanation for Western power cuts, like many others. Rejection of coins fueling price increase, market traders. And I can say that she's not wrong, indeed. Some people say they do not take 20 pesos, 10 pesos, even 50 pesos. And so they would round everything up to the nearest store, which is a 1 Ghana city. And that is increase. We are causing the increase, the inflation ourselves. Let's take a look at more newspapers. The Daily Banner, Prophet Uche receives special honor. Okay, government strips Adamos resources of mining leases. I think on the satellite, I saw that the CPP is celebrating 54 years since Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah passed. Okay, let's move on to the more newspapers. Daily Guide, Adamos resources mining leases revoked. Heath Goldfields must stay. Residents say so. We are reading that many residents or workers in the mining areas rather would expect that or want that the foreign-owned companies stay. And the conversations is that the foreign companies are paying better. Is that it? Then we need to look more into this matter so that it does not become a big worry. Let's go on with more newspapers. The Overseer, Prestia Galamsey Group praises Heath Goldfields. Adamos lease revocation. Lawful jobs will be protected. Minerals Commission assures. NDC opens branch elections. Demands appointees resign before contesting. The Publisher, Minister pulls plug on Adamos operations. Wuntumi not into Galamsey. AG affirms. Prestia miners praise Heath Goldfields. Gold Board CEO tours Royal Ghana Gold Refinery. And RNAQ claims on delay show falls. Joanna Kwei's lawyers fire back. On the Business Analyst, Gold Board CEO visits Royal Gold Refinery, backs 24-hour economy drive. Also on the front page of the Business Analyst, government installs 200 transformers nationwide and the power upgrade plan. And IMF team expected in Accra from April 29. That is tomorrow. All right, we take a look at that. On the Catalyst's front page, we will restore normalcy. That is John Jinapor, the energy minister, the man who is making all of the news today. Still on the front page of the Catalyst, Adamos faces possible persecution and Prophet sabotage warning. I'm unable to see what is down there, but grab a copy of the Catalyst and then you would see what is on the front page. But the biggest is the energy minister and his presser that he held yesterday in the government accountability series. The Meridian has on its front page illegal mining storm hits Heath Goldfields Prestia site, and also on the front page, efforts underway to stabilize power supply. Energy Minister says so. President Mahama breaks ground for new Accra airport. Okay, all right. These are on the Meridian front page. On the Dispatch, I intend to maintain the decrease in the rate of inflation and stabilize the economy. President Mahama in Africa Watch. Still on the front page, from a party builder to a possible 2028 NDC flag bearer, they are focusing on Chief of Staff Julius Deborah. Finally, on the front page of the Dispatch, get fund and please explore partnership for development. So these are the stories on the newspapers. Grab a copy and read more into details. Now let's take our attention to social media and see what is trending there. We bring you Daily Job.
Right now, if you like, violate any mining, laws and see what the land commissions will do to you. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, has ordered the revocation of the Akango, Salman and Nkrofo mining leases of Adamu's Resources Limited for breaching Ghana's mining laws. Investigations by the Minerals Commission found that the company engaged in illegal subcontracting, operating without approved permits, and then mined outside approved areas, causing environmental damages, and also allowed foreign nationals to participate in unlawful mining activities, including galamsey, on the land that they gave them. The minister said the decision forms part of government's fight against illegal mining, and then warned that further criminal actions could be taken against the company and its management. Government also says steps will be taken to protect workers affected by the revocation. Charlie, when these people are doing things, they forget that they've employed people, and if they mess up and then their licenses and their, the things that allows them to operate are taken from them, they're also taking people's jobs from them. Then, as they say, employment, we don't even have, the little we have, we are still taking away. Charlie, informed.
Imagine your father was convicted for a crime that he did not commit for like 19 years, and now the government wants to compensate him with 800,000 Ghana cedis. Is it fair? A Ghanaian bar owner, Yawapia, has finally received justice after spending nearly 2 decades in prison for a crime that he did not commit. So he's now 48 years, but he was arrested in 2006 over an alleged robbery case at Sema Oni Moshe. So after the back and forth in court in 2011, he was convicted and then sentenced to 45 years in prison. But after spending 19 years out of the 45 years in prison, a major twist broke out in 2021. That's just last year. The Court of Appeal reviewed the case and overturned his conviction. The court described the entire situation as a grave miscarriage of justice. After spending 19 poly years in prison. Following his release and full acquittal, his legal team pushed for over 2 million Ghana cedis in compensation for the years lost, the suffering endured, and the damage to his life. However, the Supreme Court later reviewed the claim and ruled that 800,000 Ghana cedis was an appropriate compensation package. After spending 19 years in prison, people are saying that the 800,000 Ghana cedis is too small because this man had something going on for himself, that he could have made properties, made a lot of money and all of that. Others too are saying that the money is okay, because who knows, maybe if he was out, like he wouldn't have made that amount of money. And now Pogana hands you to and now better baby. Guys, I want to know what you think about this issue in the comment section. Be informed. So a lady is crying on social media that her boyfriend of 6 years has broken up with her. Why did they break up? It's not because she cheated or something happened though. So they went for the bride price list. And a bride price, no. Hey, they want to kill the man. Let's go through the list together. Abi, we are all here. Let's see whether the guy living makes sense or not. We are talking about 5 fat cows, 50 chickens, 30 virgin goats, 5,100 bags of cement, 500 tubers of yam, 10 million naira for the family, 5 million naira for the community. And the community didn't know the work. iPhone 17 Air for her mother. iPhone 17 Pro Max for her father. 10 bags of foreign rice. 50 liters of fuel, a solar panel, and more. More on it, say, list in the kit will be pony. Now, do you think it makes sense that the guy left? So now the lady is heartbroken and is crying online. She says she never expected things to end this way. That the guy even has the money that he can afford it. Hey! So if he can afford it, then my ladies here, let me know what your family will take for your bride price list. And then the guys, let me know what you take and what you won't take in the comment section. Be informed.
Now, this weekend serves as hot action and plenty drama across the world of football. So, make run on very, very sharp one. So, now the FA Cup final is set. Yes, Chelsea managed to beat Leeds 1-0 with a goal scored from Enzo Fernandez over the weekend to clinch their spots in the FA Cup final. Now, Manchester City also managed to do a comeback over Southampton to also clinch their spots in the FA Cup final. So now for Wembley, it beat Chelsea, then Manchester City. Now this they make them 4 straight FA Cup finals for Manchester City. Yes, they played 4 FA Cup finals in a row. They're able to feature in this one. So currently they hold the record for 3 finals. So if they play this one, they've played 4 straight FA Cup finals. Now already City win the Carabao. Then they're in hot title race for the league. So it'll be like Pep. He won't do domestic trouble again, but Arsenal for really look sharp. Because if we do there, then Pep, they turn EPL to Farmers League, be that. Because Manchester City, the game against Southampton over the weekend, they really shows they really want to win and they really want to be in the finals. Pep proved that he's once again one of the best coaches ever. And speaking of the EPL self, Arsenal are back on top of the English Premier League table as a goal from a very cheers. They managed to give them a win over Newcastle this weekend. And be the title race alone with hot for the EPL inside with the relegation battle self, Charlie. That side there, if you hit right now, Burnley go, Wolves also go, and the tight race now they between Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham. And this weekend, they just switch. Because Tottenham managed to beat Wolves by a lone goal scored from Paulinho, and West Ham also managed to beat their opponents to be able to open the points to 2. So right now it's only 2 points between Tottenham and West Ham with only 4 games left. So just imagine Tottenham, the West Ham, or they avoid relegation. So the EPL there, for no say, you can't predict it at any time. Now I'm going to move over to League One as well, as the championship have been clinched by Coventry. Yes, Coventry managed to win the championship title over this weekend. And there's some good news for Ghanaian Connection as well, as Brandon Thomas Asante, the Ghanaian forward, managed to clinch a goal in the game for Coventry to be able to beat Wrexham and clinch the championship title. So currently, Coventry have also been promoted to the EPL as well. And speaking of championship titles, Charlie, the La Liga in title race it be hot. Because for Spain inside, Barcelona managed to move closer to the title again as they opened the gap to 11 points. A goal from Rashford gave them the win over Getafe in this weekend. And Real Madrid went to play draw with Robert Betis again. Right now, the points between Madrid and Barca, it's 11. And the games that are left, Charlie, and you know, go for prediction, football there, anything go for happen. Currently, Lamine Yamal is out. So Barca don't have their star boy there. So if I see the league title for that side to the race, be hot. So my people, you see from FA Cup finals being locked in and set, and the race for titles this season, Charlie, boy, it be hit. Lightning McQueen cried about race to the camel.
Well, and that's all for Daily Drop. What's trending on social media. Now let's turn our attention to the top headlines for today. Energy Minister has addressed ongoing dumsor concerns. Akosombo Fire fall out. The Akosombo Fire fallout continues. Questions over system stability. Also in the headlines, water supply disruptions in Accra linked to power outages. Accountability series sparks public debate, and legal team of Team Fodjwa demands apology from Angel Magazine. And finally, public calls intensify for transparency in the energy sector. We have all of these coming up today on the show. We'll have conversations on them after this breather. Stay with us.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. Let's turn our attention to the Government Accountability Series featuring the Energy Minister, John Jinapor. Yesterday, he took his turn to address the public on the energy concerns many people are having, the crisis that is creeping up. Let's turn our attention to the President. He will be back for more.
First one was on the debt situation. Like we said, we inherited a debt of about 80 billion cedis, and we've been addressing the debt situation, paying off legacy debts, and also working very hard to pay the IPPs a chunk of what is due them. When we assumed office, the IPPs were paid about 40%. We've taken it to as much as around 90%. In some instances, some even receive 100%. And so there's been remarkable improvement when it comes to the debt. Then cushioning. I have no problem if government cushions people, but we should avoid what happened in the past. And the ECG MD is here. During COVID, you were told that you'll be given free electricity. This government came and we are paying for that so-called free electricity. And so my advice has always been that it's good to provide the people with subsidy, it's good to cushion them, but let's budget for that and make the funds available for that subsidy. Nuclear, we are on that, and we are working very hard. Insurance, I want the investigation to address all the issues of insurance and related matters. And so I do not want to prejudice the issue of insurance. Whether dumsor or dumkra or dumsor, the first thing is, let's be honest. Look, once in a while we can have challenges, like we are just witnessing. Unpredictable, nobody foresaw it, nobody could tell the magnitude of it. And when you have such a situation, don't try to play tricks with the people. We have a deficit, and we've admitted that because of the fire incident we have a deficit. I've directed ECG provide periodic updates on regional basis, areas that will be affected every 12 hours, because it's a very short duration. Like I said, we are looking at this week, so you can't do a weekly schedule, and even what you provide a day, it keeps changing because Just this afternoon, we've had another plant come on. We are looking at another unit coming on. So we provide that periodic update. People are not happy. That's a fact. But I know that people are discerning. People are very discerning. Ghanaians have the wisdom. And they know that we have a legitimate, genuine challenge that is not of our making. And they know that we are putting efforts to address that. That is a better approach than telling the people that you are engaging in dumsor. Volta region, we have a peculiar problem that we inherited. We operate 161 kV lines, 275 kVA lines, and 330. That section that you are talking about, they do not have any of these lines. And you can verify from the engineers. And so the voltages will be unstable since independence. But we are not just complaining. We are finding solutions. We've worked with Gridco. The immediate thing we are going to do is to construct a 16 line from Asiepe to Ho with improved transformers so that we take Ho off the old line and give them a dedicated line. Ho is a big consuming area. So when you take them off and you give them that dedicated line, the remaining smaller towns or communities will see a boost in the voltages. Then we go ahead with the long-term measure to address the challenge. And next week we intend to go to Ho to engage or commence that exercise. So the people of Volta region, yes, I know that you've been suffering low voltages, including Oti, Otidamanko, Bimbila, all the way. And that's the spine we are talking about, and we are determined to deal with that. Inspection of the dams is a routine exercise. They keep inspecting the dam. Even with this challenge, they've quickly taken advantage of it and sent divers to inspect the dam. So the integrity of the dam will continue to inspect it. That is why we couldn't foresee this explosion and inferno. But I'm sure that the investigation will deal with that. And you are normally Kumasi. Oh, I said the containers. Let me deal with that. I said I'll deal with that. I saw containers. Yeah, Kumasi has a peculiar issue. The network is very bad. And you can talk to every engineer. In fact, this work that I'm saying Advances is going to do should have ended in 2023. That is when they should have completed that. But it's dragged on. We have to do some investigation. We have a roadmap. And so we have the green light now with ECG to do that loop. It will bolster the transmission system. Then the primary distribution point. The one we did at Lashibi, for instance, I was told it's about 32 or so years old. I mean, a 32-year-old plant or generator, 23 years. A 23-year-old, I think one of them too was 32. So a plant that is stayed for 20-something years and with increased consumption and increased demand, it will surely put pressure on it. That's why I said that if you take the rich area in Kumasi, we are completely changing the transformer at the primary distribution station and putting a bigger one to bolster the voltages. We are also going to work with Gridco. We are supposed to close a certain loop, which will also bolster the system. Why maybe some people couldn't do it is that it will involve some minimum outages. But it has to be done. Yes, sometimes when you do these things, it creates some inconvenience. But the cost of postponing it is what we are witnessing today. So when we have to take a decision and improve the system, even if it will cause some temporal unease or some discomfort, we have to do that. It's a necessity. And so after the World Cup, we will do that exercise. We will go to Kumasi and explain to them. And I'm sure that they would appreciate and understand what we are doing. So we place priority on Kumasi. It will never be the case that President Mahama will neglect any part of the country. Because when we do that, we boost economic activity and it helps all of us. ECG containers, yes. When I assumed office, and you can check from the records, I set up a committee to account for the containers. The committee came back to me and said they couldn't account for a certain number of containers. And CTFM, you are here. You can just check your own records. John Jinapo, we will recover ECG missing containers or funds. So my priority first is to recover every single container at the port. In fact, that is what every minister should be doing. In addition to that, I've written to the Attorney General to look into possible criminality and let the law take its course. That's what the wise minister will do. We've recovered 1,569 containers so far. They were stuck there. And yet, ECG was buying the same containers and they were getting stuck there. So my vision to recover the containers remained unchanged. After we've recovered all the containers, we'll reconcile the figures with their manifest and with all their procurements. And if there are still challenges, we'll make that available. So we are really on course and we are doing what is needed, what is needful, and we are focused on that. Thank you very much.
There was a question on development in the upstream petroleum sector.
What was that? Yes, in the upstream sector. Oh yes, in the upstream sector, we've increased gas production from Nigeria. We've increased gas from ENI. They're doing around 210. Today they are doing 280. 280. Nigeria, they were doing about 70. They are doing about 100. Jubilee, they've gone to about 130. I mean, that's significant. In less than a year to achieve that feat on a three-pronged approach would only mean that you are really putting in place the measures. Like I said, this temporary situation, we are determined to deal with that. And we are going ahead to even increase more gas. We just signed a framework agreement with the Jubilee partners. 2 billion investment. We signed another framework agreement with ENI. 1.5 billion investment. For the first time in 6 years, the continuous decline of our oil production this year will halt it and turn it around. With Look Oil, I have good news for you. Next week I'll brief you. Something positive is happening. Very positive. We're making a significant headway and we are determined to address that challenge. We are making the sector attractive. All the big majors are coming in. Shell is showing interest, Chevron is showing interest, Petroleum Commission is leading us in that agenda and working with diligence, with transparency, and there's certainty now in the sector. So we are on course. In the downstream sector, in countries like France, in London, and other countries, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, they don't even have the fuel. There are shortages there. Some countries do not even have the fuel. We've never suffered any supply disruption. We are rather providing subsidy. So we are on course, and sometimes we get these challenges. But I know that we overcome this challenge. Thank you. Okay. And you know me at for with the Madam Osibebre and your friends and children for Ghana for na atorenchem kese a eto ye ananu yi ewo Akosombo anyinamankane no a eja ehyehe ye control center a enu ntino ama anyinamankane no ahokyere kakra abeto mu na ye frem se ye mamo emu enchechiremu ne ekoso nyame ncha de engineers omo ye adwuma ne menemo kasa de emfidie ne eyensia mienu omatimi ede abae no eye adwuma omugusu a ne etoso miensa no omde no so ba nti nyame ya adwuma enche na otwe mu ye beso ano na enkanea no esagina na kumasefo ye de adesronko eba ho eye monyina mankanea na ehamo no ye beso ano ye bekora na egina yie na moso monya enkanea ebeboa mo ye de transformers afoforo eba cables afoforo new power generation and
well, so that is the Minister for Energy, John Jinapo, outlining what his ministry would be doing with regards to the power situation at the moment. He highlights who. He highlights the Kumasi two major cities that need some huge upgrades, and he says that they would be doing that as a ministry. But when you listen to him, does his words inspire confidence? Does he inspire confidence that things will be up and running in the energy ministry or in the energy sector? Well, we'll look forward to speaking with the spokesperson or the head of media relations for the energy ministry, Richmond Roxon Esquire, sometime during the conversation. We'll also be speaking with an energy analyst today on the show, Dr. Ni Dakon Asante, concerning the energy minister and his words, how far we've come. The lights are still going out. We understand that 2 plants have been replaced. By the end of the week. We should expect that all 6 be replaced. The fire that occurred at Akosombo, that has also added up to the concerns we are facing in the energy sector. The lights are still going off in areas. In some areas, it's still incessant lights out. But is there light at the end of the tunnel? So much so that even in the dark days at this point, we can look forward to things getting back to better very soon. And so you should be sticking out. You should be sticking in or staying on with us so that when it's time for the conversations, we can look at that. But let me open the phone lines again. Yesterday, you told me how it was in your areas. Has it gotten better in the last 24 hours? You can call me and share your thoughts with me. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call and let me know how the situation is in your area, in your home. In the past 24 hours, have you experienced any lights out? Has it been better than it was yesterday and the days that led to yesterday? You can let me know. 053-916-1609. Call and share your thoughts with me. I'd love so much to hear from you. I would love to hear from you concerning the power outages. Are you still experiencing that? Now that you have also heard from the minister, most of you said that we should tell the minister, tell government to deal with the situation. You've heard from him. Are you assured? Have his words inspired any confidence with regards to the past situation in the country? Let's hear from you. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call and share your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Ahmed, popularly called Baba Chairman from Tamale.
Ahmed, thank you for calling. Share your thoughts with us.
Thank you. As I just tuned to your channel and I heard you talking about the dumsor situation across the country. And as I speak to you, it's so sad. I'm like I told you, I'm currently in Tamale, specifically Target. Okay. Yesterday in the evening, the light went off, came back, went off several times. Then eventually it is like it has now returned to the low power situation. As I speak to you, the power is so low that even the ceiling fan cannot work. But for the ingenuity of these white people who have bought us these smart TVs, these televisions that can work under this low power, I wouldn't have tuned into your station. The situation is so terrible. I had to go outside and sleep in the compound. I don't understand what is happening. It's like John Mahama's name is synonymous to dumsor. Anytime he's in power, we go through some of these hurdles. And unfortunately on our part, the tariffs keep going up every 3 months, and every time the tariffs are going up or the tariff is going up. But unfortunately, nothing is being done. What is happening to this country? Why is the NDC treating people as though we don't have a thinking cap of our own to think about what they are doing to us? Well, they've soon forgotten that power is transient, and in 2028, Ghanaians will vent their anger on them at the pools. Ghanaians will vent their anger on them at the pools. No two ways about that. So we are telling them they should better sit down, because if the country is governed well, all will benefit. But as we speak, the way things are going, I'm sorry. It's like your mama, because he's going for his last tenure, he doesn't care as to what happens to the ordinary Ghanaian out there. But your guess is as good as mine, because your cameramen are out there, and the stories they are telling you about the dumsor situation, I guess you know it more than me. And like I told you, come to 2028, Ghanaians will go and pass a vote of no confidence on this incompetent government. Thank you very much.
All right, Ahmed from Tamale, thank you for letting us know what's happening in your vicinity. But the Energy Minister has informed us that 2 generating units have been installed so far. By the end of the week, we should expect all to be installed. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Pakwesi, calling from Elmina.
Thank you for calling, Pakwesi. How's the power situation in your area?
Yeah, my area is very good, very calm.
Okay.
But the only doom so is worrying. I want to speak Fanti.
Please go ahead.
Fine, okay. Minister of War, Minister of War, yeah, Morocco Biewa. On your machine, Bialo, when you scan to gas, when you scan to fuel on farm panel, energy. Into what kind of country is can you? Then, doom so living a watching, what you do this kind of what you have with this kind of idea. That remains Asada. My fridge was say. I blend some of us, my fridge Kakraba was say. Me is some use the crowd was say. Now because of doomsay. Into me can't catch a minister there, minister, on the kind of country, the molecule and the gym too. But I say.
Okay. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts. And that's his. Like I was telling you, the Minister for Energy says that 2 power generation units have been restored. They have been restored. You recall that the fire that raged the Akosombo substation caused some 6 units to be burnt, letting us lose so much power generation, so much power that could come to our homes. He says some 2 have been restored, adding up about 280 megawatts to the national grid, and expects that by the end of the week, all 6 should be restored. And so all eyes on it. Is that any indication that by the end of the week we will not be experiencing as much lighthouse as we're experiencing? As it stands, there are those who say that this excuse by the ministry does not hold water. They say it does not hold water because the lights were going off before the fire at the Akosombo station, and so it really does not hold water. Is that what it feels for you? Is that how you see it? We also understand that all of the transformers that they are replacing, we should have time for them. But do we have the luxury? Well, let me hear from you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
I'm Ebenezer from Tema.
Hi, Ebenezer. It's great to hear from you. Let's hear you.
Yes, madam. Because of dumsor these days, I don't watch you.
Oh, Ebenezer, but don't worry. We stream on Facebook and YouTube, and so when the lights come on.
I tried to find you on the YouTube, but
you can't find us.
Yes.
Okay, the name on YouTube is ABC News GH.
Okay. Yes. I keep getting the following GH TV.
Just add GH to the ABC News. You'd find us.
Okay. As you know, NDC have no change. The same thing in 2012 to 2016. Excuses upon excuses, and I'm happy now. Ghanaians are getting to know NDC with their tricks. Always with this Minister of Energy with his latest excuses. It's not going to, at the end of the weekend, nothing is going to happen. It's going to go on like this, and the excuses and the apportion blame to the opposition. You see, it's so bad. For about 1 week now, we don't see light in Tema Community 18. It's been we are in darkness, and it's so bad. It's so bad. The explanation is even making Ghanaians more angry. It's so serious. I'm watching you on the look at the darkness all over the place. Madam, thank you very much.
All right, Ebenezer, thank you. Ebenezer says there's no hope in the minister's words and that at the end of the week, nothing would have changed. Is that what is going to be? I know the lights are very important. We need the lights. I, for one, am thinking about the many students, pupils who have reopened ISHSs at the moment. Many of the pupils students are writing their WASI. Some have started, some are yet to start. And they need the light to learn. You can't rely on torches to learn. It's not the best alternative or the best mode for learning, and so you need the lights on. You speak to some students in the SHSs, they call home and you find out, are the lights going on out in your school? And say, yes, we also experience lights out. And so we need that, we need that to work. We really need all our lights to work so that it makes life easy for those who rely heavily on electricity to work. It's important. Yesterday in the minister's presser, he talked about the MD for Gridco who had been asked to step aside. That has also raised concerns that, well, this MD was already due for retirement. He was due to go on leave ahead of his retirement, and so this is really much ado about nothing. But is it much ado about nothing? Well, it's all part of making sure that there's alignment within the energy sector. The minister has also set up a technical committee to look into the fire that occurred at the Akosombo substation and also into some of the issues within the energy sector. Does this not inspire any confidence? Well, you let me know. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Let's hear what you have to say. Following our conversation yesterday, 24 hours on, have you experienced better energy situation in your area? I cannot say so. It's been lights out in my area again. I got home yesterday and the lights went out. I said, oh God. But yes, I know that some of you are experiencing that. Same for others who are not experiencing it, because on my way home I saw that there were areas that were lit up. There was light there. Everything was going on as normal. But how are you coping? Especially those of you who rely heavily on electricity for your work, those of you who are doing remote jobs and you need to stay in contact with your clients, with your superiors. How are you managing when the lights go off? How are you able to meet the target you have been given? Let us know. The food you're cooking, how is it? You know, people cook in bulk because you want to reduce cost. If you have to cook every day, obviously you're going to spend much or more than you would have spent if you cooked in bulk and put in the fridge. Now that the lights are out, how are you managing? How are you able to cope? How is it for you? You call me and let me know. Share your thoughts with me, 053-916-1609. But ultimately, the Minister for Energy, John Jinapo, has spoken. He has explained what's happening within the sector, and he gives us hope. He tells us these are the things, these are the objectives to work towards. These are the things to look forward to. Are you inspired to look forward to all of that? Are his words inspiring enough? Are they inspiring enough for you to just hold on a little bit longer? You let me know on 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609 and share your thoughts. You can equally leave a message for us on our socials at ABC News GH_. We are streaming, and so you can leave a message in the comment section and I'll do well to read. But what we know at this point is that the government is working tirelessly to restore stable electricity. And so those are the things, or that is what we will be holding government to. We would be holding government to that, on the stable electricity, so that you don't have to be worried. We don't want to continue on the tangent of having to call home to find out what the power situation is like at home. I saw a post on social media that said on Sunday after service, many of the youth did not go home. They stayed behind to charge their phones, and so that is inadvertently helping people to bond them more. Very interesting. I mean, by whatever means possible, right? So how is it? Others go to work with all of their gadgets, their power banks and their phones, charge everything before they leave the office for home. How is it like? Let us know. That many people say that government publish a timetable, give us a timetable so that we can work with the timetable. Give us a timetable. Government says that these are issues they are working towards, and so a timetable at this point is not the most viable. Can we just hold on a little bit for government as we wait till the end of the week? Can we hold on a little bit for government as we wait till the end of the week to see if indeed there's going to be stable electricity as they are saying? Well, 053 916 1609 053 916 1609. Share your thoughts with me. Let me appreciate what's happening in your areas, in your neighborhood. Are the lights on? Are the lights on? Are the lights on? You let me know. 053 916 1609 053 916 1609. Are you going to hold on for government? Are you going to have the time to hold on? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, I have lost my caller. Please call back. Let me hear from you. 053 916 1609. I'd love so much to hear from you. It's your voice that matters, and your voice alone we want to hear. In conversations like these and times like these, you are the one who is affected the most, and so I have to hear from you. I must hear from you. I want to hear from you. 053 916 1609. Let me know the past situation in your area. Yesterday, one of our callers said that it was better in the northern region. Today, another caller from the northern region says it is not any better. And so it means that both of us could be in the same area, but could be experiencing things very differently. We're in the same area, but experiencing things very differently. Let me know how it is. If you did receive any prior notice about your lights going out. 053 916 1609 053 916 1609. Share your thoughts with me. Call and let me hear from you. I'd love so much to hear from you. 053 916 1609 053 916 1609. Let's know how the situation is in your area. Let us know how the situation is in your neighborhood. But the lights still off, on. A lot of people, yesterday when I was walking through my neighborhood, I could hear generator sounds, and it shows that people have had to remove their generators and also bring their generators out and fuel them so that it could power their homes. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, ma'am?
I'm Josephine. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Thank you for calling, Josephine. Let's hear you.
To me, my opinion is we should wait for the government.
Okay.
Because I think we don't have money in this country, and the government is doing so much for our children. If we are not there, our children will come and enjoy what he's doing now. So we should have patience and then wait for whatever he's doing for us. We should manage it because this thing is normal. So we should manage it and then wait for the government.
Okay. But are you experiencing the lights out in your area, Josephine? Okay, I have lost Josephine. But well, Josephine tells us to hold on. We should wait for government. We should have some hope in government, knowing that whatever the government is doing would benefit the generation to come. Do you have the patience to wait for government? As Josephine is saying, you let me know. 053 916 1609 053 916 1609. Share your thoughts with me. Call and share your thoughts. 053 916 1609. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Amwako. I'm calling from Bilatu.
Okay. Amwako, could you please turn off your TV so we can have a very good conversation? Amwako. Hello? I've lost Amwako. Please call me. Okay. Amwako, are you still with me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but the TV in your background seems to be interrupting the conversation. Hello, Marco, if you can let's hear from you. 053-916-1609. Well, when I have some more time, I would open the phone line so that we can have some more conversation on the matter. Well, hello, good morning. Good morning.
Baba Chairman once again from Tamale.
Okay, Baba, let's hear you.
Yes, the lady who just spoke before the last caller. I think and it's like people don't understand the exigency in which we are. Because the government now, in opposition, was preferring all the solutions they had. But when it get into power, they are behaving otherwise. And you are telling us to be patient with them. In which way? That our children will come and benefit when we don't know our left from our right. And you are thinking, so how do you think we can raise our children to be responsible children going through these situations? Tell me, then they should tell me how, you should tell Ghanaians how we should be patient and be able to raise our children to the level that they will exist to enjoy after we have wallowed with the pain and left. See, the point is the NDC didn't just descend into the governance. They made promises upon promises upon promises. And they told us they prefer to Ghanaians the solutions they had. Why are they telling us today? We do not have the laxity of time to give to the NDC and their incompetent government. Thank you very much.
All right, Baba, thank you for calling. That will be all of the calls I'll take at the moment. When I have some more time in the course of the show, I will open the phone line so that you can call and share your thoughts with me. Let me transition into some conversation we'll be having. Dr. Nida Kwasante is an energy consultant and a former technical director for the Energy Commission. He joins me on the line for a conversation this morning. Doc, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and good morning to your listeners as well.
Good morning. Doc, looking at the situation that we are faced with, a very unfortunate situation, having to ration power at this point, and the energy minister's comments, his assurances given him up until the end of the week to ensure that all of the power distribution that we lost in the fire would be restored. Indeed, do we have some hope in the situation we find ourselves in?
Thank you. Well, definitely there's hope, but that hope is not primarily because the minister said so. He's managing people, and he's assured by the people who are actually doing the work, that's the engineers, that they will be able to restore power, and I think they've restored 2 of the Akosombo units.
Yeah.
So he himself is depending on assurances he's received from the engineers themselves, and so the confidence is in the engineers who he is relying on.
The assurance is in the engineers that he's relying on.
Yes.
Well, for
the minister cannot manufacture electricity. I mean, these are equipment, these are plants which are designed to produce electricity. There's been a fire, there's been an accident. I mean, it's unfair to expect the minister to conjure power from somewhere. The people who are running the facilities are the ones who have to restore power.
Right.
The minister is just, if you like, putting the necessary pressure and making sure they have what they need to deliver what they have been employed to do. So, I mean, that's basically where we are.
For many people, it's a roundabout situation. We are talking about so much at one point in time. But what is the situation we are faced with? Is it a generation issue? Is it a distribution issue? What really is the problem?
So the immediate thing we are talking about is a fire. And fire destroys things. And what it has destroyed has meant that Akosombo could not supply its power to us. So we lost generation from Akosombo. The plants are fine. They are able to produce power. But there's a difficulty in sending the power to us. So that has been the problem. Now, there may have been problems before that, but this immediate problem is that of generation shortfall caused by the isolation of the Akosombo generating facility. So once they manage to restore power from Akosombo, the immediate crisis we faced will be gone.
But Doc, if really the problem is with the fire that occurred and 2 of the units have been restored, given us some amount of power, then it means that we shouldn't be experiencing the widespread light outs as we are experiencing at the moment. Because from the conversations we are hearing, we seem to be placing all of the power issues we are facing right now at the doorstep of the fire. Shouldn't we have lights then if 2 of them have been restored out of 6?
So 2 out of 6 is not 6 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
If we needed all 6 and we've lost 4, that is still enough to give us, I mean, whoever the 4 units were supplying power with,
Mm-hmm.
those people cannot get electricity. And we are talking about the largest single facility in Ghana, 1,000 megawatts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no facility in Ghana, no power plant that produces 1,000 megawatts. The average plant produces about 300. So it's like losing 3 thermal plants at once. So even if you restore 1 of the 3, you've still got 2 of them out.
Mm-hmm.
The people who were being supplied by those power plants cannot get power. So there will be outages. I mean, part of our challenge is maybe we've sort of lost a certain level of trust in our duty bearers because over the many years, they have not been candid with us. But this one is just arithmetic. We had 1,000 megawatts running and 1,000 megawatts went. We've brought back about 200 and something. But there's still about 600, 700 out of action. Those people who were supplied power from those plants will not have power. And that's a lot of electricity. It's more than the whole of the northern areas consume. It's a huge amount of electricity shortfall. There's no way we won't have. It's just impossible. That is the nature of the thing. There's absolutely nothing we can do until we restore the Akosombo.
But before the fire outbreak at Akosombo that cost us these huge numbers, the lights were going off, and what the explanation the ministry gave us was that they were restoring or they were replacing some transformers in areas because most of these transformers had become obsolete. They were unable to serve the areas as adequately as they should. And so these are 2 different things playing the same, oscillating at the same time, Doc. But really, if we put this transformer conversation up to the task, would it be able to stand scrutiny as it is?
So I have never been convinced by transformers being the source of widespread outages. This I brought up by ECG maybe a couple of years, 3 years ago. I came up when I was on the PRC board. Widespread outages are not caused by obsolete transformers. In an area, you can have an overloaded transformer, but that will be a gradual instability that will come. It won't affect people who are not on that transformer. So where I live, we have frequent outages from a transformer trip. It's been happening for years. We know the sort of frequency with which it happens. It's not like we don't know. We know the nature of our power supply here. So yes, when that transformer is replaced, our quality of supply will improve. But when the outages go beyond what we know that there's something else afoot. So yes, there are definitely obsolete transformers. There are definitely overloaded transformers. But it's not a widespread thing that overnight causes outages. There are issues, and there may be some issues that existed before the Akosombo fire. But let's still separate things. The Akosombo fire is a real and serious incident that has occurred. Even if we didn't have problems before, we would have had problems with the fire at Akosombo. So we shouldn't mix things. The Akosombo thing, we've seen the fire. Those of us who know the importance of Akosombo will tell you that before this fire, most people would say that we could not keep the grid up without Akosombo. Because Akosombo, apart from the amount of power it provides, it also helps to keep the grid stable. So with Akosombo out, there was always the risk that the whole grid would collapse. The engineers have managed to keep the grid running without Akosombo, and it wasn't planned, it was sudden, it was abrupt, they didn't have any warning, but they've managed to keep the grid up. For that, we should congratulate them, we should thank them, and we should even reward them for their ability to do this. However, the problems at Akosombo are real. The problems that occurred before that are things which we should ask questions about. For me, the biggest problem is that we are talking to the minister. The minister does not manufacture electricity. The minister does not maintain the transformers. There's an MD at ECG, there's an MD at Gridco. I think he's been asked to step aside. They are the ones who should be answering questions. But over the years, we have liked to talk to the minister, and the minister will give us assurances. But the assurances he gives us are based on assurances he has also received from the engineers who are running these plants. These are not issues that are political, that NDC or MPP or CPP will resolve for us. These are problems that engineers have to deal with and resolve. And really, my question to you, the press, is why do you seem satisfied with talking to the ministers? They are not the ones who are either causing the problem or solving the problem. And the people who can give you direct answers keep quiet, and we allow the politicians to filter out the information they want to give us or not give us. And so we are where we are. You have some sort of doubts about whether the ministers are telling us the truth. It's not started with this minister, it happened in the past, but we still continue to talk to them and don't go to the people who know, who are the ones responsible, and put their feet to the fire to tell us what is really going on. Because they know, they are not giving you assurances that they have heard secondhand. They know what is wrong and why we are not getting power, or why we were not getting power before Akosombo went out.
Akosombo went out, and there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there that also even point to arson as the main cause of the fire. So much happening, and you put it that we are not speaking with the technical people, we are listening to the politicians. But that is the landscape we find ourselves in conversations like this. Everybody wants to go to the duty bearer who says during their time of opposition or when they were campaigning that this is what we can do. And so the chasm or the lacuna that has been created, really, isn't it again at the doorstep of the politician?
So yes, the politicians are responsible for what they say. We are also responsible for who we talk to and who we listen to. As for the politicians, they will play, I did it better than you, or no, it was better in my time. But they do not fix the problems. They cannot fix the problems. They are sitting in their offices talking to the people who fix the problems. You also have access to the people who fix the problems. It is the choice of the media to talk to the politicians and then later on complain that we have politicized the whole power system. But if you keep talking to the politicians, they will only talk up their performance, their capabilities, the failure of the previous or the other party. So we also contribute to politicizing this thing. I'm a technical person. I will not speak about whether NDC is better or MPP is better, because at the end of the day, the issues we are dealing with are with if you like, technical, physical equipment that work or fail depending on how well they are operated or maintained. The ministers do not do that. But we sort of play into this game of is NDC better or is MPP better. Akosombo has been there from before the Fourth Republic. MPP didn't set up Akosombo, neither did NDC. Okay, it happened in CPP time. But it was not by a politician running it. The politician provided the funding or gave the assurances to the investors and so on. That is the role of the politician. Right now, we are, I think the minister said, we are close to our limit in terms of the supply is almost the same as the demand. What the politicians can do is provide the framework for additional capacity to be brought in a timely fashion. Those are the questions we should ask them. Are they doing that? But as for when faults happen or when the generation is not working or there are maintenance issues, the politicians cannot do anything about it. The thing that they can do is ensure that the framework, the landscape is sane and sound for people to invest in additional power. That is what we should hold them to doing. And if we talk to the politicians about that, great. But when we have technical issues, if there was a sabotage, it wouldn't be, well, it's unlikely to be another minister who went there and set fire to the substation. At the end of the day, I am not aware that there's any sign of arson. If you know anything about electricity, you know that fire is a real hazard with electricity. Until you have reason to suspect sabotage or arson, we should go with the normal expectation that there was insulation failure, that there was a short circuit, that there was something that technically is not unusual. And what was the failure? Was it a failure in maintenance? If the maintenance was up to scratch, then you can start looking at maybe sabotage. But we shouldn't jump to the sabotage or the arson as a first thing. I mean, fires happen in electrical installations. Transformer fires are not new. They happen every so often. This is only significant because it's at such a large facility. But unless, and I don't know whether Gridco suspect arson themselves, but unless they have reason to suspect arson, I don't think we should start speculating.
Well, Doc, now let's take a look at the fire again. Since this happened, what then are the measures we put in place to avert them, to ensure that the rate at which it would happen again would be lower than we have seen? We've lost 1,000 megawatts. We say that if Akosombo goes down, the whole of Ghana goes down. And so it means Akosombo is literally a pulse. And so we need to have our finger on that pulse. And so from that angle, from the technicians in there, from the technocrats that are working there, what do we do to ensure that this is a never again happening situation? Or even if it would happen, it would the rate would be really low.
Okay, so let's keep things in perspective. The rate is low. Akosombo was built before many of us were born. Well, some of us were there, but we're probably still very young. But Akosombo is older than probably half the population of Ghana. I'm not sure about the statistics. This is the first time they've had such a significant event.
Right.
So it's not like these things happen all the time. Transformer fires happen occasionally all over the country. But there have been some significant ones. We've had, I think, Achimota had a substation fire maybe 10, 20 years ago. I can't remember exactly when. These are not totally unexpected events. And the operators of the facilities are required to ensure that these things do not happen. There are protective processes. There are protective and preventive maintenance that they are supposed to do. But let me point to something that is probably at the root of all this. We all know that the power sector has suffered from underfinancing, and Gridco, more than any other entity, has suffered from lack of payment. We know ECG collects money and then pays for the generation and for the transmission. So when operators are not paid, they go and fight with government and say that they will stop generating. But what they also do is that they don't pay for their fuel supplies. So the generators at least have some way of reducing their pain. Whatever money they get, they hold it and they don't pay the fuel people. Gridco is the only one who doesn't pay anybody. So when they get their money, it's for their operations. So when they don't get enough money, as for staff, you have to pay them. So sometimes they'll borrow money to pay their own staff. But when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to maintaining their equipment, that is where, when a company is short of money, then shortcuts are taken, maintenance cycles are lengthened, and things are not done the way they should. That doesn't lead immediately to an accident. But the sort of things we are seeing, and this is not the first accident that Gridco has had, there are lines which are overloaded, which have failed, and so on. We must all recognize that with engineering systems, failure doesn't occur the day you lower your maintenance. It happens sometimes years afterwards. So we may be paying the penalty for things we did in the past. So at the end of the day, what we must look for going forward is to ensure that Gridco is not starved of money. The amount of money it needs is not as much as those of ECG or of the generating companies put together. So they don't scream, they don't shout, but when things go wrong in Gridco's infrastructure, it causes major trouble. And we are seeing that today. So, well, I'm advocating on behalf of Gridco that we should be more mindful of their needs and not sort of shortchange them the way we have done over the years. It has been known that GRIDCO has been suffering for many years. Not MPP time alone, not NDC time alone. It's been going on for a while.
Right.
These are the consequences that come from it. But on the whole, GRIDCO has not been, it's not like there's something that we need to start doing that we haven't been doing. They know what to do. They know how to do it. We need to fund them and make sure they do it. And when they don't do it, we need to talk to the engineers and find out who has failed and deal with them.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the ministers will only tell us what we want to hear, and we will continue politicizing, or MPP did better, or NDC did better, and the problems will remain.
Well, there's a section of the public that believes that with what happened at GRIDCO or with what happened at Akosombo, we should have had an alternative source of electricity, such as gas or solar, to fall on until the restoration of the units is done. Now, even in terms of the transformer change, if we had alternative sources, it would have helped. In our current climate, Doc, is that tenable?
Yes and no. Maybe just 5-6 years ago, there was all this talk about overcapacity, and that we couldn't afford to pay for the overcapacity, and there was a lot of should I say, insults or accusation held at NDC for the large overcapacity that we had. So the nature of these things is very simple. If you need one car and that car breaks down, everybody say, why didn't you have a spare car? When you buy that spare car and you have to maintain it and you're not using it, people will say that you are wasting money. In the electrical system, there's something we call reserve capacity.
Okay.
And the received wisdom has been that we should have about 18 to 20% reserve capacity. That means you pay for generation that you are not using. That is for security. GRIDCO will also generally have what they call an N-1 reliability status, which is that any major transformer should be able to go out, and they should have enough spare transformer capacity to still supply all the load that they need. So these are all what we call redundancies. You have equipment that you do not need just in case of emergency. It costs money. You have to pay for it. If somebody brings a generation plant that you are not using, you still have to pay for it. And PRC has to pass it on through the tariff. And we, the people, should not complain when we are paying for this unused capacity. Hey, why should we pay for it? We are not using it. We need to pay for the safety, reliability, and redundancy that we need. So I hope that when the excess capacity, not excess, but the reserve capacity is procured, we, the people, will recognize that we need it for eventualities like this, and will not complain that, hey, we are paying too much, because it costs money to put that spare capacity in place. Having said all that, the Energy Commission is responsible for planning the power supply balance in the long term. As we speak, there's a supply plan that is supposed to be produced every year by GRIDCO. There's an integrated power sector master plan that Energy Commission is supposed to produce. Those plans would tell us where we are, whether we have spare capacity, whether we have reserve capacity, when we would need additional capacity, and all that. For the last, I think, 6 years or more, we have not published those reports. Those reports are still being produced, but they are not being published, which suggests that people are hiding information because either they are not been doing what is right or something. These are the questions that, again, the media should be asking about. You should be able to say that, oh, we have enough now, but we'll need a new plans in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, or we have already fallen behind in our procurement of power. These are the things that, for whatever reason, and I assume it's a political reason, we don't want to show the people what the situation currently is. These are things that Energy Commission should do, GRIDCO should do. They are not doing it, and we are also not asking them questions. But we'll go and talk to the politicians who will tell us nice stories. So my recommendation is that these plans should be made public. And as the third estate of the realm, you, the media, should be asking questions as to why the annual supply plan has not been published for about 6 years or more. What is being hidden from us? Why is it being hidden? And these are questions we should ask of the duty bearers. That is the CEO of Gridco, the Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission. And if they can't give us good reasons, then we go to the politicians and say, why are you allowing the people you have appointed to fail in their duties to us, to tell us what the plans are for the energy sector? Because that would answer the question you've asked me.
Have we managed our energy sector well? And a few months ago, a bill was passed. We had to pay a certain amount of money, a levy just to help with our energy sector, to the point the lay Ghanaian calls it the dumsor levy. But we are still experiencing what we're experiencing. Have we managed the sector as adequately as we should?
I would say no, and I would also say, but we are all to blame.
How so?
We have not managed it well because we, the people, have not been willing to pay for the cost of managing it well. And our politicians have wanted us to elect them, so they have, should I say, mollycoddled us into this problem. Instead of telling us that, yes, we can do it, but you need to pay more, they say, oh no, the price should come even lower. And then they come into government and they find they can't lower the price. And then instead of telling us the truth that, well, we didn't understand, we have to increase price, they hide things and so on from us. The reality is that what we call dumsor levy was inevitable. We need money to pay for the electricity we are consuming. Interestingly, when I talk to the fuel suppliers and even some of the generating companies, they are a lot more confident since the dumsor levy came because they are getting paid. So it has made a difference. I wish it didn't have to come from a tax on fuel. But something I've often said is that as for the power, we will pay for it. We'll either pay for it in tariffs, or we'll pay for it in taxes, or we'll pay for it in deaths at hospitals. But we will pay. So we can pay for it in a way that we can see, or it will be taken from us in a way that we may not see. But there is no way that these power plants will run, buy fuel, and send it to us if we are not paying the cost. The debt will rise, and eventually the people will ask for their money. And whichever government is in power at that time will have to find a way to pay for it. So as for paying, we'll pay. How we pay is where we, the people, can choose. So I believe that we, the people, should pay what it costs. But once we pay, we should demand the service. We can't demand service when we are refusing to pay. They will lie to us.
Okay. Already there are those who believe that they are paying for more than they're actually using. In this time of the lights going out, the credits they buy for their prepaid meters still run out as if they were using lights 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so for many Ghanaians, it's actually is a burden to pay them more because they really are not seeing the value for the money.
What is the value for the money? Most of us don't know what it costs, so we are not really in a position to talk about value.
Okay.
We know what the value is when our lights go off. We know what it costs us to run a generator. But we don't say, oh, the generator running is too expensive. Either the generator pool should sell us the generator at a lower price, or the Shell and Goil and people should sell us diesel at a lower price. That one will pay. But when it comes to electricity, we say, oh, it's not value for money. Is petrol value for money? Is diesel value for money? We pay it. We are complaining that with the war in Iran, our petrol prices have gone up. But in 2022, our petrol prices went up even higher, and we paid it. So my point is that really electricity has a cost. We've set up an organization, an institution, PRC, to intervene between us and the people who produce the power and ensure that we are not shortchanged, we do not pay more than we should pay. Throughout the time at PRC, there's always pressure to keep tariff down, keep tariff down. The reality is that we are paying less than the cost of the power that is supplied to us. So if we say it's not value for money, I'm not really sure what we base it on. I have seen the numbers, and I can say without any fear of contradiction that overall we are paying less than it costs. The biggest challenge is the amount of electricity that is lost through theft. And that is what increases the cost. So yes, ECG has to deal with that. And we have not really managed to put pressure on them to deal with that. But the other thing is where their meters charge us more or for power that we have not consumed. That is a real problem. But again, we treat it almost like a political issue, and we talk to politicians about it. The reality is that we have specific individuals who feel that their meters are overcharging them. Why can't we bring those specific people together? Get 3 or 4 examples of such people. Bring ECG's meter people in place and hold their feet to the fire too. What are you doing about this? This is just a sample of the things that people are suffering from. Bring PRC to the table and hold the people who are actually responsible for solving these problems to tell us what they are doing about it. But we end up talking to politicians and they'll tell us stories. Your meter will continue to overcharge you. They'll say, oh, we are going to do a project. We are going to replace meters. And it will take weeks, years, or months and years for that particular customer who is suffering to get his meter attended to. Instead of fixing his meter, we'll start a project and we'll start from house number 1. He's number 35. When will we get to him? House number 1 does not have a problem. House number 1 to 10 don't have a problem. We'll replace all their meters and we'll not replace the 1 meter which actually has the problem. I've had my meter replaced I don't know how many times. I didn't have a problem with my meter. Why is it being replaced? Meanwhile, somebody wants a new meter for a new property, he can't get it. Somebody has a meter that is faulty, it will not be replaced. But we'll start this exercise to replace 1,000 meters, 1,000,000 meters. We'll procure big things and we will not deal with the people who have a problem. My question is that we keep taking these issues to the politicians and they tell us stories. But the next politician comes, we'll go to him again. Honorable Jinapor does not replace meters. Honorable Jinapor does not test meters. Honorable Jinapor does not receive complaints from people who have meter faults. But we will go to him when people are complaining that their meters are running like Usain Bolt. He will not do anything about it other than call ECG and say what is happening. Why don't we call ECG directly, bring the MD or the director for the particular sector that deals with commercial operations and ask him what he is doing, because it is what he does that will make the difference, not what Honorable Jinapor does.
Well, Doc, the CEO for Gridco, Engineer Mark Iwaba, has been asked to step aside. An investigative committee has been put together to investigate the fires that occurred at Akosombo. In asking the CEO to step aside, are we just scapegoating him, or really we are looking for a solution to the problem we are faced with?
I mean, personally, as I've said, I do not know the basis for that, but obviously I wouldn't know sitting in my house. But I would have wished that if that decision was necessary, it would have been taken by the board of Gridco. Because I do not think the minister is the most appropriate person to take that decision. We appoint boards to oversee companies for a reason. If they feel that he has not done something he should have done, he has failed in some duty, or they suspect it, it is for them, in my view, to suspend him or to ask him to step aside. At the end of the day, the fire that happened is under the direct management of a director at Gridco. The managing director doesn't maintain the equipment himself. He has directors who have responsibilities for these things. If there is somebody who must take responsibility even before we found out the cause, I think it will be those who were responsible for the maintenance. Having said that, we have to investigate and find out where the problem happened. to sort of ask the chief executive to step aside, I think personally, without having any specific knowledge of the circumstance, I think it's premature. The chief executive is not the one with the most to hide. The people with the things to hide are the people who are directly responsible for that infrastructure. And I have to point out that the place where the fire happened is not a manned facility. So there's nobody who physically works there. This is an automated system that is remotely controlled. So it's not like there was some technician or operator sitting there who was having tea when the thing bent. There is nobody there. It's not the person there. So again, these are systems that have failed. I do not personally think that a person should be held liable unless specific indication is that somebody was negligent. But even I feel that that decision is taken by the board overseeing the company. Otherwise, suspend the board. Why not suspend the chairman? Why would we pick at the chief executive? But again, I don't have the information that the minister had and the basis on which he took it. But as you'll notice, my concern is that we have over-politicized our energy sector. And my concern is that we need to move away from that. And that would be for those who are directly responsible to begin to take responsibility. In this case, the board of GRICO. We haven't heard from them. We've heard from the minister. Why haven't we talked to the chairman of GRICO and asked him what he's doing? What is the board doing? They are the people the minister and the country has put in charge of GRICO. If there's a problem at GRICO, we should be hearing them speak. The minister should not be the one who should have to speak on behalf of GRICO. If it's not the chief executive, it should be the board. And the board should be doing most of what, I assume they've also been to the fire site and so on. But, we all like talking to the ministers. But there is a board in charge of GRICO. What are they doing?
The board in charge of GRICO and what they are doing. Look, this is how far we've come. The minister has given many assurances, talks about, he even gives up until 6 months the work that would be undertaking in the energy sector. Is there hope for our sector?
As for hope, there is hope.
There is. Okay, we're still speaking with Dr. Nida Akosombo, who is an energy consultant and former technical director at the Energy Commission. We would establish contact with him, and so that we can conclude our conversation with him better. But this is how far we've come. He says that if anybody were to ask the CEO of GRICO to step aside, it would be the board. The board would be best positioned to ask him to step aside and not the minister. We need to delve deeper into the matter and look at it. Doc, thank you for joining us again. I was asking if there is hope in the energy sector.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
Yes, I was asking if there's hope for the energy sector. With how far we've come, the minister.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
There is hope. There is plenty of hope. There's more than hope. I think we can have confidence in the engineers that we have. We can have confidence. And maybe I may seem as coming across as not appreciating what the Honorable Minister has done and is doing. I will give him full credit for helping to restore the finances of the energy sector. We bash them for the dumsor levy, but to be honest, the dumsor levy has been a godsend and has made a huge impact on the power sector. And between himself and the finance minister, I think we have, for the first time, a situation where the finance and energy ministries are working together, as opposed to sort of turf wars between them, which has been the situation in several administrations, both NDC and MPP. Once they are working together, we have seen a lot of positive developments. A lot of debts have been paid over, and so people are more optimistic about investing in Ghana. So yes, in terms of outlook, I'll give credit to the politicians and the political actors in how they have acted. and in what they have done. Unfortunately, most of the actual things they have done, we have been oblivious of it. We have rather sort of did their top about dumsor levy. But I think that has been a bold and very consequential intervention. And much as it's unpopular, or well, they managed to push it through, that has been a major step change in the sector. They've also helped the cash waterfall to stand and be effective. When we started the cash waterfall, it was a struggle to get compliance, and it was actually failing at a point. But this administration has brought it back on track. So I'll give them credit for that. As for the infrastructure issues, the technical challenges, they are there, and I have confidence that given the engineers and the quality of engineers we have, I don't have any doubt that they are more than capable to resolve these problems. The only challenge I have is that we the people tend to pretend that these problems are not real, that they are a question of, politicians promising and maybe hiding truths from us and so on. And yes, that lack of confidence is justified. The politicians have an interest in not letting us know the truth so that they can hide the deficiencies and spin us stories when they are facing problems. It's like the way our children, when they have done something wrong, will not tell us and will try and tell us, oh, it wasn't me, or it hasn't happened, or they'll try to hide it from us. We have created a situation where we allow these secrets to be kept from us. And again, it is up to us as people and you as the media to go to the sources of information which are being withheld from us. The supply plan, the power sector master plan. These are documents that are produced year on year, and they tell us whether the government is assisting in procuring the power that we need, when that power is needed, when will that power be delivered. Those questions are being answered in those documents. We need to have those answers so that we know when the politicians are being slow or when there's a challenge before it happens. Otherwise, we'll always wake up and then we'll be told a story. Whether or not the mass transformer replacement is the true cause or it is just a smoke screen to cover a problem, we will not know, because we will not have access to the real information that answers the question. But that information is there. We have a Right to Information Act. We have a very, should I say, efficient and powerful media. You can get this information out and get us, the technical people, to give you what those documents mean. But the data is there. On the whole, there is hope. But I think we also need to play our part to stop the sort of smoke screen that both administrations have done over the years. They've kept us away from the truth of whether or not there is dumsor. It should not be a speculation that politicians argue about. It's a hard fact of supply demand, which is bigger. When supply is bigger than demand, we don't have a problem. When demand is bigger than supply, we have a problem. We have to load shed. That is a simple two numbers. Those numbers are known. But for whatever reason, for the last 6 years or so, those numbers are being hidden from us. It's being treated as a national security or a state secret or something. It's not meant to be. So yes, there is hope. But the reality is that we have challenges. And for whatever reason, the challenges are not being made clear to us. And so that gives also a sense of doubt, or maybe they're lying to us, maybe the things will not get better, and so on. But on the whole, yes, there is hope. But there's a big but. We have to make sure that we are willing to pay for what it costs. And once we pay for what it costs, we have to hold the feet of not just the politicians, but also the bosses of ECG, of GridCo, of PRC, of Energy Commission, to do what we are paying for.
Doc, we're most grateful for your insight this morning. We thank you for joining us and having this lengthy time of conversation with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And do enjoy the rest of your day. Dr. Nida Asante is an energy consultant and a former technical director at the Energy Commission. There's a lot that needs to be done in the energy sector. We hope that we're able to get there and have our lights on. And repeatedly, Ghanaians do not love dumsor at all. One thing Ghanaians will collectively not like is when the lights are off. It affects every facet of our lives. And so we really am hoping that we're able to solve this matter very, very soon. We'll take a breather. When we return, we have more for you on ABC in the morning. Keep your dial here.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. The conversation about LGBTQ plus has been rife. Just a few days ago, there was a whole thing on it, looking at the bill, what could be taken out, what could be added. But it seems that this bill would be advanced as has been widely circulated. But as part of the conversations around LGBTQ plus, one known personality within the LGBTQ plus circles, Angel Maxine, made some remarks about Member of Parliament for Asin South, that is Honorable Reverend John Intim Fodjo, who's one of the proponents of the bill. Reverend Intim Fodjo, through his letters, have demanded a retraction and apology for what they call vile and defamatory material, which is of grave concern to Reverend John Intim Fodjo. I'll read the statement to you. Law Nkrumah and Associates put this out. It's dated 27th April 2026, and it's directed to Angel Magazine. Demand for retraction and apology for vile and defamatory material of and concerning Honorable Reverend John Intim Fodjo circulated worldwide on digital platforms. We act as the lawyers for and on behalf of Honorable Reverend John Intim Fodjo, Member of Parliament for Asin South, and right pursuant to our client's strict instructions. We make reference to your vile and defamatory material and of and concerning our clients, which you published and or caused to be disseminated multiple times worldwide through the deliberate use of widely accessible digital platforms including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter X, asserting as fact that our client is gay and has had sexual intercourse with you. These statements are categorically denied. Are entirely without factual foundation and were made recklessly, maliciously, and with a complete disregard for the truth. Our client makes bold to say that you are a complete stranger to him. He has at no material time met, seen, communicated with, associated with, or engaged in sexual intercourse or any form of sexual contact with you. Your assertion is an improvisation of your wild imagination, and that he has never been involved in the dirty act of intimacy with a fellow man or any indecent sexual activity. Your vile and unguided statements, culminated with the flagrant abuse of digital publishing platforms, have exposed our clients to public ridicule, contempt, and opprobrium, and have caused substantial and ongoing damage to our client's personal and professional standing. The reputational damage you have caused our client is incalculable, given the fact that it is your advertisement that you are also active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other platforms and other places in the digital world. We have the full instructions of our client to demand you immediately and permanently cease and desist from making any further defamation about our client. Further, we demand an unconditional retraction of the defamation you gratuitously fed the whole world and render an unqualified to our client. Take notice, and notice is hereby given that if you fail, refuse, and or neglect to comply with the terms of this letter 7 days from 27th April 2026, our client shall seek legal redress without further recourse to you. Please advised accordingly. Yours faithfully signed, Lawrence I.K. Butcher, Esquire, Counsel for Honorable Reverend Intim Fodjo. This is from the lawyers of Honorable John Intim for Asin South. That is popularly known as social media, retract and apologize for these statements against him. This is the latest in the LGBTQ plus conversation. We are looking forward to speaking with the counsel for the Reverend Kwesi Boche Jr. on this. We've been unable to establish contact with him at this point. When we do, if we're able to establish contact with him before we end ABC in the morning, we'll do well to have some conversation briefly with him on this matter. It says that if after 7 days, Angel Magazine has not apologized and retracted the statement they made, Honorable Intim Fodjo would have no option than to proceed to court. Well, after this break, I'll bring you more on the show. Do stay.
Wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the date, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, We are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Some things never change when it comes to feeding your family. You choose what you trust. For generations, Gino has delivered the same dependable quality every time. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Right now, if you like, violate any mining, laws and see what the land commissions will do to you. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua, has ordered the revocation of the Akango, Salman and Nkrofo mining leases of Adamu's Resources Limited for breaching Ghana's mining laws. Investigations by the Minerals Commission found that the company engaged in illegal subcontracting, operating without approved permits, and then mined outside approved areas, causing environmental damages, and also allowed foreign nationals to participate in unlawful mining activities, including galamsey, on the land that they gave them. The minister said the decision forms part of government's fight against illegal mining, and then warned that further criminal actions could be taken against the company and its management. Government also says steps will be taken to protect workers affected by the revocation. Charlie, when these people are doing things, they forget that they've employed people, and if they mess up and then their licenses and their, the things that allows them to operate are taken from them, they're also taking people's jobs from them. Then, as they say, employment, we don't even have, in the little we have, we are still taking away. Charlie, being fault.
Imagine your father was convicted for a crime that he did not commit for like 19 years, and now the government wants to compensate him with 800,000 Ghana cedis. Is it fair? A Ghanaian bar owner, Yawapia, has finally received justice after spending nearly 2 decades in prison for a crime that he did not commit. So he's now 48 years, but he was arrested in 2006 over an alleged robbery case, Asema Oni Moshe. So after the back and forth in court in 2011, he was convicted and then sentenced to 45 years in prison. But after spending 19 years out of the 45 years in prison, a major twist broke out in 2025. That's just last year. The Court of Appeal reviewed the case and overturned his conviction. The court described the entire situation as a grave miscarriage of justice. After spending 19 poly years in prison. Following his release and full acquittal, his legal team pushed for over 2 million Ghana cedis in compensation for the years lost, the suffering endured, and the damage to his life. However, the Supreme Court later reviewed the claim and ruled that 800,000 Ghana cedis was an appropriate compensation package. After spending 19 years in prison, people are saying that the 800,000 Ghana cedis is too small because this man had something going on for himself, that he could have made properties, made a lot of money and all of that. Others too are saying that the money is okay, because who knows, maybe if he was out, like he wouldn't have made that amount of money. And now Pogana hands you to and now better she'll be in the banner cries baby. Guys, I want to know what you think about this issue in the comment section. Be informed. So a lady is crying on social media that her boyfriend of 6 years has broken up with her. Why did they break up? It's not because she cheated or something happened though. So they went for the bride price list, and a bride price, hey, they want to kill the man. Let's go through the list together. Abi, we are all here. Let's see whether the guy living makes sense or not. We are talking about 5 fat cows, 50 chickens, 30 virgin goats, 5,100 bags of cement, 500 tubers of yam, 10 million naira for the family, 5 million naira for the community. And the community didn't know the work. iPhone 17 Air for her mother. iPhone 17 Pro Max for her father. 10 bags of foreign rice. 50 liters of fuel, a solar panel, and more. More on it, say, list in the kit will be pony. Now, do you think it makes sense that the guy left? So now the lady is heartbroken and is crying online. She says she never expected things to end this way. That the guy even has the money that he can afford it. Hey! So if you can afford it, then my ladies here, let me know what your family will take for your bride price list. And then the guys, let me know what you take and what you won't take in the comment section. Be informed.
Now this weekend serves as hot action and plenty drama across the world of football. So make run am very, very sharp. So now the FA Cup final is set. Yes, Chelsea managed to beat Leeds 1-0 with a goal scored from Enzo Fernandez over the weekend to clinch their spots in the FA Cup final. Now Manchester City also managed to do a comeback over Southampton to also clinch their spots in the FA Cup final. So now for Wembley, it beat Chelsea, then Manchester City. Now this they make them 4 straight FA Cup finals for Manchester City. Yes, they played 4 FA Cup finals in a row. They're able to feature in this one. So currently they hold the record for 3 finals. So if they play this one, they've played 4 straight FA Cup finals. Now already City win the Carabao. Then they in hot title race for the league. So it'll be like Pep, he won't do domestic trouble again, but Arsenal for really look sharp. Because if we do there, then Pep, they turn EPL to Farmers League, be that. Because Manchester City, the game against Southampton over the weekend, they really show say they really want to win and they really want to be in the finals. Pep proved that he's once again one of the best coaches ever. And speaking of the EPL self, Arsenal are back on top of the English Premier League table as they go from a very cheers. They managed to give them a win over Newcastle this weekend. And you know, with the title race alone with hot for the EPL inside with the relegation battle self, Charlie. That side there, it be hit right now. Burnley go, Wolves also go, and the tight race now there between Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham. And this weekend, they just switch. Because Tottenham managed to beat Wolves by a long goal scored from Paulinho, and West Ham also managed to beat their opponents to be able to open the points to 2. So right now it's only 2 points between Tottenham and West Ham with only 4 games left. So just imagine, Tottenham the West Ham or they avoid relegation. So the EPL there, if you know, say you can't predict it at any time. Now I'm going to move over to League One as well, as the championship have been clinched by Coventry. Yes, Coventry managed to win the championship title over this weekend. And there's some good news for Ghanaian Connection as well, as Brandon Thomas Asante, the Ghanaian forward, managed to clinch a goal in the game for Coventry to be able to beat Wrexham and clinch the championship title. So currently, Coventry have also been promoted to the EPL as well. And speaking of championship titles, Charlie, the La Liga in title race it be hot, because for Spain inside, Barcelona managed to move closer to the title again as they opened the gap to 11 points. A goal from Rashford gave them the win over Getafe in this weekend, and Real Madrid went to play draw with Real Betis again. Right now, the points between Madrid and Barca, it's 11. And the games that are left, Charlie, and you know, go for prediction, you know, football there, anything go for happen. Currently, Lamine Yamal is out. So Barca don't have their star boy there. So if I see the league title for that side to the race, be hot. So my people, you see from FA Cup finals being locked in and set, and the race for titles this season, Charlie, boy, it be hit. Like me, my queen cried about race to the Camu. The way the EPL teams, the La Liga teams, and the Serie A teams were the battle. As for Bundesliga, there we know say buying collect time already. Charlie, this.
You're welcome back from Daily Drop, bringing you all that's happening in the social media world. Don't miss it out. Anytime we're live here on ABC in the morning, we'll bring you the Daily Drop. Now it's time for what's happening in the world of sports. James Ohinba Makion joins me here. Good morning.
Good morning, Abena.
46 days to
44.
The 44.
Yesterday was 45.
Oh, yesterday was 45, yeah. So 44.
44 days.
Oh, nice. Now, how is it shaping up?
Everything is going on well. The cities or the state that are supposed to host the various countries that will come, everything is shaping up. Yesterday, you remember Ghana will be in Boston, so yesterday the delegation at Boston and also Rhode Island, that's where the Black Stars will be lodging. They met the GFA to talk about that, but we will bring that one in subsequent bulletin. Okay. But let's start off from the under 17. Yesterday I was here to tell you that the Black Stars are in Ivory Coast preparing for the under 17 AFCON, which will be staged in Morocco. They played their first game 2
Yeah.
That's why 2-0. Because in national team, or when it comes to the national team, especially when it comes to the Starlets under 20, under 17, they usually beat us.
Why?
I can't answer that, but it looks like in recent years they've been beating us when it comes to the youth tournament. But this is a friendly game. They beat us 2-0. 30th of April, we'll play the second leg at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium. But head coach for the Black Starlets, Prosper Ogum, has been speaking about these friendly games. He has revealed the importance of these friendly games and what he is using this particular friendly encounters for, and how it will shape them for the under 17 tournament. Let's have a listen to Prosper Ogum.
Very, very likely, and for most of these boys, this is the first experience traveling on an aircraft. So they were very happy. They were so proud that football has given them the opportunity to be on board an Emirates aircraft, Accra to Abidjan. So everybody was happy. Everybody was excited. For just a 40 minutes flight, so it's stressful. So to sum it up, it was very smooth and very interesting. I think it's a big opportunity for us to look at the players we have at hand. Locally, we've been able to play series of friendlies with Premier Division sides, Third Division sides, Division 2s and academies, and to express themselves in terms of our team structure, the principle in the team structure. To come over here to play against the finals at the WAF, also gives us the opportunity to test whatever we've done, to look at whatever in terms of preparedness. So it's going to test our mental toughness, it's going to test resilience, it's going to test our desire, our hunger for victory, our hunger to play very in the structure and also see it at the same time. I see rather to be a preparatory game to test every within structure to see how these departments are, so that when it comes to the AFCON, we'll be able to get a feel of what each of the players is likely to bring on board.
So that was head coach Prosper Nate Ogum of the Black Starlets speaking about the friendly games that they are playing against the Ivory Coast.
But that's 2-0.
Yeah,
this game was the game after the son of the president's visit.
Yeah, so that's Sharaf Mahama. He visited the team on, I think, Saturday when they were having their last training before they head to the Ivory Coast. So he was there to encourage the boys to give up their best when they go into the under 17 AFCON. Remember, Sharaf is a certified FIFA football agent. Yeah, so he has that interest in football. He's a former player himself, though he didn't reach the highest stage, but he's a former product of Wafa Academy. During his tenure there, his head coach was Prosper Ogum. So he knows Prosper so much. Before he went to Europe to play some academies, before finally deciding to just leave football.
I'm interested in the capacity in which he visited the team, whether as Prosper Ogum's former player, so he went to support his boss, or as the son of the president.
In all of those capacities. He's also a FIFA agent. He's a sports enthusiast. Yeah, he has a sports agency too. So probably he has some players in there. He's going to support it. But remember, this under 17 AFCON is very crucial because it will serve as the qualification for the FIFA under 17 World Cup. So we need to be part of the last four. To ensure our spot in the FIFA under 17 World Cup. We need to get to the semi-final.
Second, third, fourth. We just need to get to the semi-final.
Exactly.
I trust the boys to do it for us. We beg them.
Let's hope so.
We are not just hoping. I am begging them.
You are begging them. But this crop of players, there are some good players, really, really good players in the under 17. Some of them are from the under 15. That's won the recent African schools championship. So there are some players in there who are very good. So the transition is still working. So from local football, let's head to the UEFA Champions League. So tonight, I had the long-awaited semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League begins today. So let's have a look at the fixture. So there we have it. Today, at the Parc des Princes, it is Paris Saint-Germain versus FC Bayern Munich. A very crucial game in there. Then on Wednesday, at the Stadio Metropolitano in Spain, it is Atletico Madrid that will host Arsenal Football Club. Abena, which of the teams are you supporting today? Today is PSG versus Bayern. Which of them are you supporting?
Really? Maybe Bayern.
Why Bayern?
I really don't have a reason. Maybe just Bayern because it's a German club. Maybe Bayern.
Yeah.
PSG.
They are former champions.
Yeah. Maybe Bayern. Bayern should
In
win.
fact, they are defending champions.
I see Arsenal in there somewhere.
So that game is tomorrow. We will see what will happen tomorrow when Arsenal play against Atletico Madrid. But
is there hope for you?
Oh yeah, definitely there is hope. There is hope. Why do you ask?
Hey, we sat here at the beginning of the year. You told us that we'll come back and see you win a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hey, Makio.
Oh, but there's still hope. Even in the APL.
The APL, I'm not too confident for you guys. So.
Even in the APL, we are still on top. Though.
With how many?
We just 3 points and a goal difference. City has an outstanding game.
I don't have hope for you guys at all.
Myself, I don't have hope. But as a football fan, as a fan of Arsenal, you need to keep on supporting the team.
But between Bayern and Paris Saint-Germain for today, who is the better placed?
So between the two sides, in their last 5 meetings, Bayern have won most of those games, and this is the most game being played ever. I mean, the number of games that have been played is ever in the UEFA Champions League between PSG and Bayern. So these are two enemies who know themselves very well. They've been meeting, but to predict who will win the game, let's do some pre-game reactions, and let's start off from Luis Enrique, who is the head coach for Paris Saint-Germain. He has been speaking ahead of the class. Just like how Abena asked who is going to win this game, he was asked the same question yesterday.